Day 129, Royal Kingdom, 2 Samuel 11, 1 Chronicles 14-15, Psalm 31. Let's begin. 2 Samuel 11. Now it happened that, at the turn of the year, in the time when kings usually go forth to war, David sent Joab, and his servants with him, and all of Israel, and they laid waste to the sons of Ammon, and they besieged Rabbah. But David remained in Jerusalem. While these things were taking place, David happened to arise from his bed after midday, and he walked upon the terrace of the king's house. And he saw, across from his terrace, a woman washing herself. And the woman was very beautiful. Therefore, the king sent and inquired who the woman might be. And it was reported to him that she was Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah, the Hittite. And so David sent messengers, and he took her. And when she had entered to him, he slept with her. And presently she was purified from her uncleanness. And she returned to her house, having conceived an unborn child. And sending, she informed David, and she said, I have conceived. Then David sent to Joab, saying, Send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David. And Uriah went to David. And David inquired whether Joab was doing well, and about the people, and how the war was being conducted. And David said to Uriah, Go into your house, and wash your feet. And Uriah departed from the house of the king. And a meal from the king followed after him. But Uriah slept before the gate of the king's house, with the other servants of his lord, and he did not go down to his own house. And it was reported to David by some, saying, Uriah did not go into his house. And David said to Uriah, Did you not arrive from a journey? Why did you not go down to your house? And Uriah said to David, The ark of God, and Israel and Judah, dwell in tents, and my lord Joab, and the servants of my lord stay upon the face of the earth. And should I then go into my own house, so that I may eat and drink, and sleep with my wife? By your welfare and by the welfare of your soul, I will not do this thing. Therefore, David said to Uriah, Even so, remain here today, and tomorrow I will send you away. So Uriah remained in Jerusalem, on that day and the next. And David called him, so that he might eat and drink before him, and he made him inebriated. And departing in the evening, he slept on his bedding, with the servants of his lord, and he did not go down to his own house. Therefore, when morning arrived, David wrote a letter to Joab. And he sent it by the hand of Uriah. Writing in the letter, Place Uriah opposite the warfare, where the battle is the strongest, and then abandon him, so that, having been wounded, he may die. And so, when Joab was besieging the city, he positioned Uriah in the place where he knew the strongest men to be. And the men, departing from the city, made war against Joab. And some of the people among the servants of David fell, and Uriah the Hittite also died. And so, Joab sent and reported to David every word about the battle. And he instructed the messenger, saying, When you have completed all the words about the war to the king, if you see him to be angry, and if he says, Why did you draw near to the wall in order to fight? Are you ignorant that many darts are thrown from above the wall? Who struck down Abimelech, the son of Jerubbaal? Did not a woman throw a fragment of a millstone upon him from the wall, and so kill him at Thebez? Why did you approach beside the wall? Then you shall say, Your servant Uriah, the Hittite, also lies dead. Therefore, the messenger departed. And he went and described to David all that Joab had instructed him. And the messenger said to David, The men prevailed against us, and they went out to us in the field. Then we pursued them, making an assault, even to the gate of the city. And the archers directed their arrows at your servants from the wall above. And some of the king's servants died, and then also your servant Uriah the Hittite died. And David said to the messenger, You shall say these things to Joab. Do not let this matter dishearten you. For varied are the events of war. Now this one, and now that one, is consumed by the sword. Encourage your warriors against the city and exhort them, so that you may destroy it. Then the wife of Uriah heard that her husband Uriah had died, and she mourned for him. But when the lamentation was completed, David sent and brought her into his house, and she became his wife, and she bore a son to him. And this word, which David had done, was displeasing in the sight of the Lord. 1 Chronicles 14:15. Also Hiram, the king of Tyre, sent messengers to David, and cedar wood, and artisans of walls and of wood, so that they might build a house for him. And David realized that the Lord had confirmed him as king over Israel, and that his kingdom had been lifted up over his people Israel. Also, David took other wives in Jerusalem, and he conceived sons and daughters. And these are the names of those who were born to him in Jerusalem: Shammua and Shobab, Nathan and Solomon, Ibhar, and Elishua, and Elplet, as well as Noga, and Nepheg, and Japhia, Elishama, and Beliada, and Eliphalet. Then, hearing that David had been anointed as king over all of Israel, all the Philistines ascended so that they might seek him. But when David had heard of it, he went out to meet them. Now the Philistines, arriving, spread out in the valley of the Rephaim. And so David consulted the Lord, saying, Shall I ascend to the Philistines, and will you deliver them into my hand? And the Lord said to him, Ascend, and I will deliver them into your hand. And when they had ascended to Baal-perazim, David struck them there, and he said, God has divided my enemies by my hand, just as waters are divided. And therefore the name of that place was called Baal-perazim. And they left behind their gods in that place, and so David ordered them to be burned. And then, at another time, the Philistines invaded, and they spread out in the valley. And again David consulted God. And God said to him, You shall not ascend after them. Draw away from them. And you shall come against them opposite the balsam trees. And when you hear a sound approaching in the tops of the balsam trees, then you shall go forth to war. For God has gone forth before you, so that he may strike down the army of the Philistines. Therefore David did just as God had instructed him. And he struck down the army of the Philistines, from Gibeon as far as Gazara. And the name of David became well known in all the regions. And the Lord placed the fear of him over all the nations. Also, he made houses for himself in the city of David, and built a place for the ark of God, and he set up a tent for it. Then David said, It is illicit for anyone to carry the ark of God except the Levites, whom the Lord chose to carry it and to minister to himself, even unto eternity. And he gathered all of Israel in Jerusalem, so that the ark of God might be brought into its place, which he had prepared for it. Certainly, there were both the sons of Aaron and the Levites. From the sons of Kohath, Uriel was the leader, and his brothers were 120. From the sons of Merari, Asaiah was the leader, and his brothers were 220. From the sons of Gershom, Joel was the leader, and his brothers were 130. From the sons of Elizaphan, Shemaiah was the leader, and his brothers were 200. From the sons of Hebron, Eliel was the leader, and his brothers were 80. From the sons of Uzziel, Amminadab was the leader, and his brothers were 112. And David summoned the priests, Zadok and Abiathar, and the Levites, Uriel, Asaiah, Joel, Shemaiah, Eliel, and Amminadab. And he said to them, You who are the leaders of the Levitical families, be sanctified with your brothers, and bring the ark of the Lord God of Israel to the place that has been prepared for it. Otherwise, as it was before, when the Lord struck us because you were not present, so also it might be now, if we do what is illicit. Therefore, the priests and the Levites were sanctified, so that they might carry the ark of the Lord God of Israel. And the sons of Levi took the ark of God, just as Moses had instructed, in accord with the word of the Lord, upon their shoulders by the bars. And David spoke to the leaders of the Levites, so that they might appoint, from their brothers, singers with musical instruments, specifically psalteries, and harps, and cymbals, so that a joyful noise might resound on high. And they appointed from the Levites, Heman the son of Joel, and from his brothers Asaph the son of Berechiah, and truly, from their brothers, the sons of Merari, Ethan the son of Kishiah. And with them were their brothers in the second rank, Zechariah, and Ben, and Jaziel, and Shemiramoth, and Jehiel, and Uni, and Eliab, and Benaiah, and Nasiah, and Mattithiah, and Eliphelahu, and Micniah, and Obededom, and Jeiel, who were gatekeepers. Now the singers, Heman, Asaph, and Ethan, were sounding out with cymbals of brass. And Zechariah, and Aziel, and Shemiramoth, and Jehiel, and Uni, and Eliab, and Nasiah, and Benaiah were singing mysteries with the psalteries. Then Mattithiah, and Eliphelahu, and Micneiah, and Obededom, and Jeiel, and Azaziah were singing a song of victory with the harps, for the octave. Now Shenaniah, the leader of the Levites, was foremost over the prophecies, in order to mark out in advance the melodies. For indeed, he was very skillful. And Berechiah and Elkanah were porters of the ark. And the priests, Shebaniah, and Joshaphat, and Nethanel, and Amasai, and Zechariah, and Benaiah, and Eleazar, were sounding the trumpets before the ark of God. And Obededom and Jehiel were porters of the ark. Therefore, David, and all those greater by birth of Israel, and the tribunes, went to carry the ark of the covenant of the Lord from the house of Obededom with rejoicing. And when God had assisted the Levites, who were carrying the ark of the covenant of the Lord, they immolated 7 bulls and 7 rams. Now David was clothed with a robe of fine linen, as were all the Levites who were carrying the ark, and the singers, and Shenaniah, the leader of the prophecy among the singers. But David was also clothed with a linen ephod. And all of Israel were leading back the ark of the covenant of the Lord with jubilation, sounding out with the noise of horns, and trumpets, and cymbals, and psalteries, and harps. And when the ark of the covenant of the Lord had arrived in the city of David, Michal, the daughter of Saul, gazing through a window, saw King David dancing and playing, and she despised him in her heart. Psalm 31. The understanding of David himself. Blessed are they whose iniquities have been forgiven, and whose sins have been covered. Blessed is the man to whom the Lord has not imputed sin, and in whose spirit there is no deceit. Because I was silent, my bones grew old, while still I cried out all day long. For, day and night, your hand was heavy upon me. I have been converted in my anguish, while still the thorn is piercing. I have acknowledged my offense to you, and I have not concealed my injustice. I said, I will confess against myself, my injustice to the Lord, and you forgave the impiety of my sin. For this, everyone who is holy will pray to you in due time. Yet truly, in a flood of many waters, they will not draw near to him. You are my refuge from the tribulation that has surrounded me. You are my exultation, rescue me from those who are surrounding me. I will give you understanding, and I will instruct you in this way, in which you will walk. I will fix my eyes upon you. Do not become like the horse and the mule, which have no understanding. Their jaws are constrained with bit and bridle, so as not to draw near to you. Many are the scourges of the sinner, but mercy will surround him that hopes in the Lord. Rejoice in the Lord and exult, you just ones, and glory, all you upright of heart.